Oi, punters, who's dumber? Queenslanders or punters from New South Wales? I think I know the answer. Oi, are you subbed to the channel? You're not. Can you just hit the, sub to, and hit the thumb while you're there. All right, cheers, punt. Well, the answer's pretty obvious. It's punters from New South Wales, and I have cold, hard proof. Let's take a look.
70, 89. Oi, where did you get that?
Oh, you mean this cool extra $6 billion?
Yeah.
Oh, we just started charging our coal mining companies just a little bit extra for all the coal that they take from us each year.
Smart.
You got a bit of coal on that side of the fence, don't you?
Yeah.
By my calculations, you're missing out on about $6 billion a year.
Oh, $6 billion, hey? That's cute. What do you want, Norway? Sorry, I just needed a quick break from counting my 133 billion from my oil companies.
What do you mean by my oil companies?
Oh, well, the government of Norway, I mean me, owns a 67% stake in all the oil companies that operate in Norway.
What does that mean?
Dumb Queenslanders.
I'm sorry, mate. Where's your $6 billion? That's right. You don't have any
come
because
on.
you're
I
too
never.
dumb.
Gents, sorry. Seems like you do this a lot. In Norway, we actually believe that Norwegian citizens should be the largest beneficiaries of any oil found in Norway, rather than, billionaires that live overseas.
So when your mining companies turns a huge profit, you get most of that.
So last year, mining companies in Australia made a profit of $295 billion. And you're telling me if we did what you did, we would have gotten like
197 billion.
minimum. Oh my God.
Is it hot in here? I think it's hot in here.
Yeah, I think you blokes are getting scammed.
Oh, I don't feel so good.
And there it is, cold hard proof that Queenslanders are smarter than punters in New South Wales. Now, obviously, both Queenslanders and New South Welshmen are dumber than Norwegians because, as was pointed out in the video, Norway owns 67% of the state-owned energy company that takes and digs their oil. So the profits from that company, 67% of them, go to the Norwegian state. And they're so smart that they took that money, put it in a sovereign wealth fund, and now their sovereign wealth fund is $171 trillion, making it the world's largest single sovereign wealth fund. Wow. And guess what? We've got way more resources than them, a whole different range of resources, not just oil. We've got a lot of things. If we were as smart as Norwegians, we would have a larger sovereign wealth fund that all citizens of Australia would benefit from. But alas, it seems that we are dumb. What we're doing right now, and the reason I'm bringing all this up again, is because Labor, Tanya Plibersek, has just approved 3 new coal mine extensions for Newcastle, which, funnily enough, Newcastle is my hometown. It's in my bloody backyard, these coal mine extensions. And it just reminded me that the Queensland government actually, a few years ago, increased their royalty program to make sure that Queenslanders were getting more of their fair share of the resources that they collectively own. Now remember, a royalty is a payment that a company makes to take our resources. The resources are in the ground, they belong to everybody. And if someone wants to take them, they get to pay everybody, and the Crown is the one that gets those royalty payments. Don't fall for the mining company's BS that tries to tell you a royalty is a tax. It's the payment you make to take our stuff that we own. And in this case, it's coal. So Queensland used to have it at 7, 12, and 15%. The price would change depending on the price per tonne that the market was charging. I don't know. And then they upped it from 20, 30 to 40. So when the global coal price goes super high and these companies making mega profits, we actually get more of a share of those profits. And when the price is lower, the royalty payment goes down. This is arguably, I don't care what anyone says, the smartest thing the Queensland government has probably ever done. This means that when you've got more money coming in for your resources, the government has more money to spend on things like roads and education and maybe less taxes for we punters. Because when these bludgers don't pay what they owe, we are the ones that have to foot the bill to fund the society that we all benefit from. And these corporate bludgers also benefit from that society. They benefit from our roads, from our infrastructure, from our courts, from our police that defend their property from protesters. They use our tax dollar police to defend their property. So you know what? Bloody pay us for using our infrastructure. Cheers. And that's what, I guess, the increased royalty payment has done. So good on you, Queenslanders. Now, New South Welshmen, just how much dumber are you than Queenslanders? Well, about $6.2 billion dumber, because New South Wales has a lot of coal. If we did what Queenslanders did for the last couple of years, we would have had an extra $6.2 billion. That's a lot of dollars. Would be nice. So most coal mining in New South Wales pays a royalty at 8%. So when the price is super, super, super high, we idiots in New South Wales, that is me, we are getting 8.2%. Whilst when the price is high in Queenslanders are getting 40%, way more money. Now, Punters Politics has just approved the extensions to these coal mines for, let's say, which companies? Max Energy, Ashton Coal, and Whitehaven Coal. Now, the story we're told by these fossil fuel bludgers is that we pay lots of tax and well, you'd be nothing without us and we'll go somewhere else and dig stuff and will you need us for our jobs, blah, blah, blah. I'm in Newcastle. I hear it all the bloody time. Yep, I got a few mates in the mines for sure. But let's test some of those claims. Taxes. Well. Let's check out Michael West, my favorite journo who follows the money. Let's check out the top 40 tax bludgers from a couple of years ago. We got 5 of Australia's top coal companies: Peabody, Yancoal, there's a Yancoal here in Newcastle, CITIC and Whitehaven just got the extension, racked up $54 billion between them in total income over the past 5 years. So in 5 years, they made $54 billion, and in 5 years, they paid bugger all in income tax. Now that's weird, because I know there's profits going to shareholders. How can profits go to shareholders and us get nothing in taxes? That's a question for someone who follows the money, like Michael West. Let's take a look at the most recent top 40 tax dodgers. Who we got in here? Yancoal. Again, how much did Yancoal pay? Nothing. Peabody Energy. Nothing. And then take a look at this. 13 of the 40 companies on the list are involved in either coal, oil, gas, or energy networks. There's Exxon at number 1, Santos at number 5, Peabody at number 7, Chevron at number 9. Are you seeing a trend? The trend is that these bludgers have the nerve to keep telling us that we need them. And they don't even have the decency to pay the tax that you and I have to pay all the time. So they take our stuff, they pay us bugger all for it, and then they skip out on their taxes. When governments are lobbied into approving these coal mines and supporting the coal industry, I was just at Q&A the other week and you hear all this rubbish from politicians saying how important the coal industry is for Newcastle. They treat us like idiots. I'm from Newcastle and they go, oh, you'll be grateful for the jobs. You know what I'd be more grateful for? Actually getting the benefits from the industry, not a few little jobs thrown out to a couple of my mates that in 5-10 years, the jobs are gone because they've been automated or the mine's finished and shut down and they're out of work. So temporary jobs, I'm sorry, are just not good enough. And what they tell these politicians is, we're going to pay so much tax. If you let us extend this mine, we're going to do so much good stuff and pay lots of tax. We'll take a look at this report from the Australia Institute. When these coal bludgers go to Parliament and say, look at how much tax we're going to pay, they give a nice big number. But this report from the Australia Institute shows, and by Analyst Econ, the tax projections that they tell the government or lie to the government about are 100 times greater than the tax paid by the entire Whitehaven group from 2013 to 2020. So they go to government and say, we need this extension, and here is the projected estimates in taxes that we're going to pay to the government if you approve this. And then 10 years later, if anyone bothers to follow up how much extra tax they paid, it turns out that this is that's what they paid. That's what they said they'd pay. That's what they paid. This is the tax that they're projecting that they're going to pay in the next 10 to 20 years. And this is the tax they paid in the last 20 years. So, I mean, I guess they could say, no, that's for later. We will, I promise. But your track record, bludgers, is showing us something else. And just to put a cherry on top, who owns all these companies? Once again, Norway, the state, the punters in Norway, the citizens own 67% of the oil company, Norse Petroleum. And Rio Tinto, they say, oh, Rio Tinto's Australian. No, it's not. Majority share owned by, oh, you guessed it, BlackRock, Vanguard, hey, the Norwegian investment bank. So I guess Norway, we took their money and invested in our stuff. All foreign billionaire investors. Then you go to Yancoal, the big tax bludger, and you go, oh, look, Yancoal's an Australian mining company, operating in New South Wales. Oh, hang on, dual listed. Whoa, hang on. Majority owned by Yankuang Group. Whoa, who's Yankuang Group? is the fourth largest, hang on, is the fourth largest state-owned mining, hang on. I didn't even know this. It looks like the Chinese government has a bigger stake in our coal companies than we Aussies do. We are dumb. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. By the way, fact checks welcome, citations necessary in the comments below. But I think you get the general trend. Our government is still falling for the BS. So this is Tanya Plibersek. They're still falling for the BS that in the mining industry is helpful to us and that we need it and that they pay their fair share when they bloody don't. And they clearly believe it, or they're on the take from them, because as we've just established, they've approved 3 new coal mine extensions. I doubt that we'll see any extra revenue from those coal mine extensions, just a crap ton more environmental damage that, guess what? We're going to get to pick up the tab on. Cheers. But at least Queenslanders who are slightly smarter than New South Welshmen are getting an extra $6.2 billion each year because they fixed their rubbish royalty scheme. Whereas we dumb punts in New South Wales, we have not. There it is, punters. Definitive proof that Queenslanders are smarter than New South Welshmen. Whoa. Just before you hop on your high horse, Queenslanders, of which I am one of them, was born in Queensland, let's just hold up before we give you the trophy for slightly smarter Australian of the year. This government, the Queensland Labor government, was the one that introduced this royalty scheme increase. But the latest polling shows that it's not going to be good this election and that this bloke, David Crucifulli, is going to get in. Now, this is going to be very interesting to see if Queenslanders can take the trophy off New South Wales for dumbest punt in Australia. Because, as Murdoch's rag points out, LNP leaves door open for Queensland coal royalty changes next term. Interesting. Now, I know there's a lot of misinformation from the Labor government that's saying, this bloke will abolish coal royalties, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, they're overreaching, say will. He hasn't said he will, but he hasn't said he won't. And to be honest, given the history of the Liberal Party, given how they sell all our resources to their corporate mates, all the money that they're on the take from all their coal companies, Peter Dutton flying around the country in Gina Rinehart's private jet, mining magnate Gina Rinehart, best buds, do you really think that he's not going to do it? If I'm to take a punt on this, I'd put good money that if these blokes win the next Queensland election, I put good money that Crucifulli will revert and get rid of the increased coal royalty scheme. And if you Queenslanders do that, you will become the dumbest punts in Australia because you're opting to give $6 billion back to those bludgers who already don't pay much tax and pick up the tab in your own taxes because you know you will. Queensland Resources Council has launched a $40 million. They're spending $40 million saying that the coal royalty scheme has made companies uncompetitive. You can just shut the hell up, Queensland Resources Council. What you are is a lobby group for billionaires, of bludgers, of people who take our stuff, wreck our country, and piss off with the profits. And clearly, I've worked up about this because these bludgers with $40 million brainwashed Queenslanders. They brainwashed people in New South Wales. And punters believe it. That's the problem. They believe when these absolute bludgers tell you that a royalty is a tax. And then they get everyone to vote for politicians like this so that Chinese-owned, American-owned, Vanguard-owned corporate companies can take our resources for nothing. And we keep rewarding them for it. So, punters, the race for Australia's biggest idiots isn't over yet. I'll be keeping a close eye on the next Queensland election. Tell me what you reckon in the comments below. Are Queenslanders dumb enough to vote for someone who's going to give $6 billion to those bludgers? Or can they remain smarter than punters in New South Wales? Only time will tell. Massive thanks to we the punters over on Patreon. These are the punters that keep me making videos that I think are important, like this one, and not just the ones that get the clicks. If you like the video, share it with a punter who might not know how scammed we're getting. Actually, definitely share this with a Queensland punter or a New South Wales punter so that both states are aware of just how scammed both states are getting. And if you want more content, I've got a podcast that comes out every single Wednesday. Check that out. Give the video a like, the channel a sub, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers, punts.